Well, today I'm gonna make nachos! Really excited. I got all the ingredients, they're all expired. And so, don't tell anyone. But, once you put them together, they're just fantastic. Still working. Delicious. Anywho, so nachos, and we're gonna do classic nachos with Velveeta. And I say classic because I always think Velveeta is classy. Because it was like the classy cheese, you know? That's what I thought. So we're gonna start with, first, we'll get to that, the meat. So over the weekend, I got to watch Jurassic Park, and man oh man, do I love that movie. I would give it an A+. There was dinosaurs, there was people screaming and crying, they were swearing. So this is how it starts out. I think the character's name is John. That's what I think is the old guy. He has this, he starts to, sorry. So John has this park, and it's got dinosaurs in it. Real dinosaurs. I'm talking 60-foot dinosaurs, Brontosaurus, T-Rex, and then there's a Dilophosaurus in there. And he has this park, and it's on this island, and he wants to get it to be open so he can charge people money, and it would be like a theme park except dinosaurs. So, ooh, I'm gonna take my ring off. I have a turquoise ring. It's real special. It gives me spirituality. I think I got spirit. You know what? After I do this, I gotta make myself a drink. So I'm putting the meat in the pan, and I got some Old El Paso taco seasoning. I got the mild. So anyway, John, he needs professionals to rate this park and say it's okay for people to come and I got bad hands. Been serving too much goulash. There we go. So John gets these two scientists. They dig for dinosaur bones, and he gets them, and then there's a Jeff Goldblum is his name, and he plays also a scientist. He always practices. He talks about chaos theory. So his thing is he doesn't believe this is natural, that these dinosaurs should be in this in an our day world, because I mean we're talking, and this movie was made in 1994, I think, and there's no dinosaurs and people and dinosaurs, and then it talks about extinction, so it's impossible. So he gets the scientists to come, and they fly them to there, and they get there and they're freaking out because there's dinosaurs that are like among them. And at first it starts out to be all cakes and smiles, and oh, look at the Brontosaurus, and oh, how cute, look at these tropical leaves, and they're having fun. And John his grandkids even come. And, they gotta have the target audience. The target audience is kids come to the park and they get to see dinosaurs. But little did they know, chaos happens. Again, back with the chaos theory. That's with Jeff Goldblum's character. And they take him on the tour. So as they go on the tour, oh, I totally forgot. There's another character. So to have something go off and be, sorry, I lose my words sometimes. Have everything go in chaos, you need a problem. And there's a computer guy. He's a real big guy. He's got to be 300 pounds or something like that. He's always eating candy bars and sloppy at his desk. And John Hammond doesn't like him. Well, I don't know why you hired him. Why would you hire someone that you don't like, you don't trust? I don't understand. That was bad managerial, decision right there. So he steals. So before this happens, he, plots to steal all the DNA from Jurassic Park and John Hammond. So he's in there, and then he just screws it all up for them. Shuts everything down because he's being a little selfish. He can't be selfish. And so while he's shutting everything down, and they don't know he's shutting everything down, they're on tour at a park with dinosaurs. And they end up at the T-Rex park. So they're at the T-Rex, and they want to see a T-Rex, and everything's still going good, and and then they have the goat out there, and they're goading the T-Rex to come and eat the goat. And after hours of waiting, there's nothing. And finally the computer system just shuts down. And they're stuck there. And then, guess what? Also the fences don't work. So that means the T-Rex and all the park animals can go past. So this goes back to the chaos theory. No matter what, chaos is going to happen. Those dinosaurs were dead as a doornail. How many years ago? 3,000, 50,000 years ago? I don't even know. It was a long time ago. Makes you think about, God and like how far back do we really go? Made me think. I think we go a little bit far back. Because these dinosaurs looked real. They had to be real. Look at that, it's cooking fast. Slow it down. I didn't get me a drink first. I gotta get me a drink. I got this Maker's Mark whiskey, and I got some ginger beer. Let me get some ice. You always need to have ice with your drink. Ooh, slow that down a little bit. So everything shuts down. And they're like, oh man. So then it starts turning dark, and then it starts raining. I mean, this is, we're setting up a perfect storm. Then, it's raining, and then all of a sudden, the goat's gone. And of course, the little girl, because there's a little girl and there's a little boy, the girl, she's probably like 12 or 13, just a young, girly teenager, makes stupid choices, because that's what young little girls do. So she starts freaking out and realizes, where's the goat? Where's the goat? Where is the goat? That wasn't exactly her face. I obviously don't. I'm not a teenager. And then all of a sudden, they see the water cup, and Jeff Goldblum's character, he looks at it, and he's like, he's like, what is that? Well, he didn't really say that. Just saying. He looks at it, and it's like you hear the sound of the T-Rex stomping around. Boom! And then the water bangs around. So you watch the water. It's like, look at. It was a lot bigger sound than that in the movie because they're professionals. So they're like, this is it. We're in trouble. And I thought that too. Ooh, that's strong. Well, almost put the half a bottle in there. Better sit that slow. Oh, so we need to get some Velveeta cheese in there. So I gotta start cutting it up because this is cooking a little bit too fast. I don't want to burn the meat. So as they're going, they're realizing the goat's gone, and they hear loud stomps, and then T-Rex comes out, and you hear it, and it's just so uproarious. It was just if it's T-Rex, your worst nightmare. T-Rex having PMS. Can you imagine having PMS and you're a T-Rex? That'd be scary. I always thought of that. Well, anywho, so I'm cutting this Velveeta cheese up because meat's cooking fast and I'm hungry. Alright, so of course the little girl, she makes stupid decisions. Go back to the little girl making stupid decisions. She gets a light and it's raining. She's freaking out. Everyone's freaking out. Turns on the light and then gets the T-Rex attention. And then the T-Rex just turns. Yeah. But if I had a T-Rex's head. And then goes towards the little girl and the little boy and where the lawyer's also with them too. In their car, and just goes at them, ready to eat them. And her little brother is like, "Turn the light up! Turn the light up! Turn the light up!" She's like, "I can't!" And I'm like, it goes back to the thing of fight or flight when you're in distress. I know I fight because I've been through some serious business, but this girl was serious flight. She messed up. She got the whole crew. Well, anyway, so the T-Rex is like, they're attacking them. They finally, and then the T-Rex pushes him over the ledge, and now the kids, Dr. Grant, the guy's with them. Thank God, and he's trying to keep the kids alive. By the way, Dr. Grant does not. He's one of the scientists. He does not like kids. So this is a life lesson for him. So they go through, they're trying to figure out, and so there's these dinosaurs also, and they're called, they thought up of Velociraptor. They're not real, they weren't recorded in history as being, something that was there. I think it was made up. I don't know, I looked it up. I don't have an exact source. It's a little bit too lazy. That's strong. Whew. So and also got to keep away from the Velociraptors. And the Velociraptors, they are fast, they are smart, and they are cunning. They open doors. I bet you T-Rex can open a door. His arms are short. You imagine him trying to open up a door? Ah! Yeah. Silly. That's probably why he died off. He probably died off first because someone figured out doors and knobs, and then you have to turn them, and T-Rex couldn't figure it out. Evolution, adaption. Alright, so we're gonna throw the cheese in this pan. Where was I talking about? Go on these rants. I got into evolution. That's a whopper of a sentence. Gotta get some milk. anyways, you know what? They figure, you know, it goes into chaos, and they have to go through the jungle, and then in the end, you know, they say they're like, it's done. We're not doing this park anymore. This is a hot mess. Dr. John Hammond, this is a stupid idea. Why'd you bring back dinosaurs and to live among humans? And that's just not possible. That would just extinct us. You're an idiot. You just screwed us all over. That's what I thought. So they get out of there. It's a really good soundtrack. I totally recommend this movie. It's an A+. Very enjoyable. Made me think about evolution and, you know, thoughts about God and who came first. Starting to think those some of those priests are fooling me, but shh, you know, I tell my sins to them, and I don't know, I think they're lying. My mind's opening up a little more since I moved to the city. Did you see my earrings? So I got these at a flea shop. Not with fleas, but actual, there's old items, and someone else has worn these. I thought these were really, really pretty. So we got the milk in there. Alright, we're heating up the cheese. We also got some salsa over here. We can probably throw that in there. Make this fiesta fabulous. Ooh, too much. So the second movie I watched was a really heartwarming movie. I love this movie. It was called Forrest Gump. This movie had me laughing, crying, back and forth. And then serious, then crying and laughing. I had many emotions when I went through this movie. It's with there's a character named Forrest Gump, and he's very slow, but he's just below the line of retardness. Just below. So he's not full retard, but he's just under the line of being retard. You know, just a few more notches up. Let's say if there was a multiple choice test, he messed up maybe 3 questions. Just below. Just like that. But yeah, he is kind of slow. In the common sense way, but other ways, you know, he's smart. But, so anyways, so it starts out, he can't walk, or his back is crooked than a question mark. That's what the doctor said. And so he put some braces on him, and now he's a retard kid that has braces on him. Thanks a lot, doctor. You just messed him up, and now he has to deal with bullies. But yeah. So the bullies, they are taunting him, chasing him down. Even when he was little, he was on his braces and chasing him down the road, and he's like, get the bikes! And he's running, and then all of a sudden a miracle happens, and he's like, and then like all the braces, they just start breaking up every which way, and then it goes doo-doo-doo, and then it's like this positive music, and then he's running so fast, and he can't even help it. He is just a running fool. By the way, his best friend he makes as a child, who lets him in, lets him hang out, and they become best friends. And she doesn't judge him for, being so slow. She enjoys his company because he's a sweet kid. And then his best friend, and then they grow up together, and then they get to when they're high school, and then they go to college, and then finally Jenny, he'd always call her Jenny. I love you, Jenny. So they go to college, and then finally, you know, Forrest starts getting jealous this whole time, and he starts realizing about love. And so she is on a date, and Forrest is waiting there in the rain with his box of chocolates, and he sees Jenny pull up, and then they're making out, and then the guy's like, and then she kind of goes, ow, and then he thinks, you know, the guy's hurting her, so he flips out and goes in the rain and starts punching him. And then they go in, and then they're like, why'd you do that? And then they're like, no, I love you, Forrest, and blah blah blah. And then, you know, and then she's like, Forrest, have you ever touched a boob? And of course he touches it, and then he does, you know what he does after that. He's the male. So anyways, so after that, they start growing up, and he goes to college, graduates, he's a football star, and then he goes off to, after graduating, he goes out, this is in the 60s, so, you know, it's wartime near Vietnam, and he goes to war, because that's what you do. You go in the army. It's the right thing to do. So he goes to war. Now Jenny is off doing her thing. Now she grew up in a very hard household. Her father wasn't so good to her. She ended up living with her grandma. She was in high school, and then she got kicked out of college, and she was wearing her college sweater when she was posing for the Playboy. And of course the college was pissed off, and they were like, that's unbecoming of a girl. Unbecoming. She didn't think so, so she just said, I'm leaving with my college sweater too. So she goes off. Forrest is at war now, and he's fighting this enemy, the Viet Cong, and it ends up being, you know, just something, you know, it was more than he bargained for. Going to war and shooting at trees. He was shooting at, that's what it said. I saw it, and he was shooting at trees. You couldn't even see the enemy. How do you fight that? Can't even see him. I know sometimes I'm a little blind myself of these glasses, but I mean, that was scary. So he's at war. Sorry, go on rant about that. So he's at war, and Jenny is now being a hippie, and she starts smoking marijuana, and then starts taking psychedelics that in the movie what they say is they expand your mind. You know, psychedelics, it's kind of scary because life is in general hard anyways. I mean, I got this meal. I mean, these products are expired, but I'm making it work. I always make it work. So anyways, Jenny is off, and, you know, I thought about, you know, Jenny being off, being a hippie and doing her thing, and then Forrest loving Jenny no matter what. And in the movie, they make him look like he's this angel, you know, that all this time he loves Jenny, and Jenny's off she's being a whore. She is being a big hussy. She's sleeping around, taking psychedelics, smoking marijuana, and Forrest is graduating from college, being a football star, going to war, fighting his country, doing all the right things. But he still loves Jenny. Like, I guess that's where love, you know, there's no boundaries. I mean, maybe I'm judging Jenny. She did have a hard life. I mean, her father was horrible. You know, doing things that fathers shouldn't do. Touching. That's not right. Oh, look at this. Everything's coming together. So, let's get it. We're making nachos. So where was I? Talking about Jenny being a whore. But there's this one part in the movie that I was just crying so hard of happiness. So, you know, Forrest's back from the war and they're protesting. They're at the you know, United States Capitol. And you know, he's making a speech. And while he's making his speech, he thanks the crowd, and then all of a sudden, Jenny comes back, and you know she's in her hippie stage right now, and she's like, Forrest! And then Forrest looks up, and it's very dramatic. Forrest looks up, and he's like, Jenny! And it's this huge, like, you know, greet, and runs after her, and they hug each other in the water, and I just about just blew my lid on my tears. I was just crying, and I'm like, ah! You know, I couldn't even speak. So anyways, so they catch up, and you know, Forrest is like, I love you, Jenny. And Jenny's like, I want to treat you like shit, Forrest. She didn't say that. I want her to say that because that's what she's doing. Forrest is an angel. He loves her. Then, so they catch up, and he meets her new boyfriend, beats the shit out of her too. Like always. Then let me get a drink. So he goes off his way. He becomes more fabulous. He becomes a ping pong star, and then she becomes more of a whore and goes to the clubs. And now it's in the 70s, and that's when the disco drug starts coming along and does all this cocaine. That's crazy. I couldn't imagine snorting up something up your nose. I'd rather just take a pill. Gets it done faster. So she's snorting up all this cocaine, being a whore. Forrest is, of course, being a ping pong star now because he's awesome at sports. Pretty much probably making up for being a retard. That's what I think. And then it comes along the way, and then he becomes a shrimp and boat captain on the way. And he told one of his commander his commander told him, he goes, the day you become is Lieutenant Dan. And he'd always say, Lieutenant Dan, Lieutenant Dan. And then Lieutenant Dan was very crass, and he'd always be like, Forrest, quit being a dummy, and be on him. But I mean, it sounds bad, but you know, Forrest needs someone to guide him. He needs someone to have common sense, and he didn't have it. So then, like, I pour in the cheese. Oh, this looks fabulous. Oh my god. Nachos! This is out of control. So Jenny's being, let's go back to, sorry, I got distracted by cheese. So Jenny's doing her thing. Forrest is now being a ping pong star. Now he's gonna be on a boat to be a shrimp and boat captain. This is delicious. So the shrimp boat captain, he hits it big after a big storm, and then he becomes rich. More money than he can handle. He's set. I gotta put my lipstick on, hold on. Always look your best. Hope that's alright. So he becomes rich, and you know, and of course Jenny comes back in his life, and you know, and I think that now she's fed up, and she's finally realized, you know, her ways and how they're not. It's the way she's living. It's not a good way to live. She's hanging out with the wrong people that just use her and abuse her, and she's done. Meanwhile, she's always abusing Forrest. It's all cyclical. Pick that up. Can't let the cockroaches get to him. They're everywhere. Can't get away from them. Some jalapenos in that. So she comes back. Forrest is done, and you know, he's went and done all of his duty, and you know, his mom's already passed, and he owns the house that he grew up in, and it's a beautiful house. And Jenny finally comes back, and now they're grooving. Now they have time to. It's their time. They're falling. They're in love, and they're with each other, and you know. And then finally, the one moment Forrest is waiting for, they have sexual relations in one night. You know, and it's, you know, they didn't show it because that would be too much. Could you imagine that sex? It was passionate. So these jalapenos, I can smell them. I love them. It's gonna be good. So they fall in love, and then after they have sex, the next day, Jenny leaves again. For the zillionth time. It's like, what are you doing to this guy? I mean, if he wasn't such a retard, this guy would have committed suicide. Like, in the war. Because he'd be like, I can't deal with this anymore. Jenny is just, you know, leaving and coming and leaving. You know, I tell her I love her, and she says, no, I want to go be a whore. And then all this time, and you know, Jenny is screwing him over, and not being, you know, his girl. You know, and Forrest is not, you know, not with any other girls. Like, he went to war. He was a ping pong star. He was on TV. He met John Lennon. There was not one girl that he was like, let's do this. Not one girl. I don't know about that story, because I think, you know, I mean, that's just not life. You just come across people all the time. Come across girls all the time. Let's put some more cheese on that. So, anyway, so she leaves, you know, and then he can't even believe it. You know, she has left him again. So then he just flips out and just finally, and then just starts going for a run. Remember, he was a fast runner, you know, and that was the one thing that, you know, he couldn't do as a child, and then he overcame. So he just starts running, because that's his answer. And then starts running, and he runs for like, I don't know, like a year, 2 years, something ridiculous. Like, how could you be, I mean, what are you eating? Like, you're just a bum is what you are, if you're just running. You're going across the nation being a bum. That's what he was doing pretty much. That's what I culminated that to. Being a bum, waste on our economy. Yeah, you know those people? But yeah, I guess he was a millionaire too, and he had so much money, so he could just do it. But I mean, he had like, he just when he started running, he had maybe like 2 pockets. I mean, how much money can you put in there? I imagine Let's cut up this avocado. Anyway, so he does that. He flips out, and Jenny, you know, is. I think at this point she's finally realized that she's a horrible person, and she needs to stop. But for good reason, because she finds out that, well, she has this kid, and doesn't tell Forrest, which is really horrible. How could you have a kid and not tell the father? And she does it, again, disappointing me every bit of the way. So she has the kid. He's running from his problems, but he can't really run from problems. He just comes back to them. And, you know, he gets done with the run, and then, you know, there's big news coverage about him, and so finally Jenny contacts him after he's done, he's chilled out, and he's back at the place, and contacts him, and he's all excited, and he's like, oh man, Jenny, can't wait to see Jenny. And then, so he goes and sees her, and then he finds out, like the horse she is, that that's your kid, and she didn't tell him. And he's all taken aback. It's like, you know, and you know, he's feeling all these feelings, and he ends up being a really good father. So then they get back to the whole thing of, and then they're like, all right, we're back on track, and we're loving each other, and this is what life's supposed to be. And then Jenny drops the bomb. She drops an A-bomb on Forrest and says, Forrest, I'm sick. And Forrest is like, what do you mean, Jenny? I'll take care of you. And she goes, well, real sick. And she's like, okay. So finally, after she's dying of AIDS, she says, okay, I love you, Forrest, let's get married. After that, you know, all the time that he's asked her, you know, loved her, and then the last minute when she's like, you know, no one will love me, and she has AIDS, and no, you know, Forrest is like, you know, just loves her and takes her in again. So they finally get married. But, you know, AIDS, she's gonna die anyways, and, you know, and then, you know, she dies, and it's really sad, and it was very dramatic and sad. I understand, but I mean, and then leaves him with a little boy, no mom, not even a nuclear family, and then it's all, you know, and it just comes back. So she dies. Forrest lives, has a kid now. Pretty much baby mama messed with his head his whole life. But I guess every child is a blessing. I mean, this child in the movie was super smart, the opposite of Forrest. You know. So I guess it works out. So what else? We got some sour cream. Anyways, it was a beautiful movie. I loved it. I enjoyed it, and I recommend this movie to anybody. So I got nachos. This is it. I did it. Nachos. I got some avocado, cheese, jalapenos, burger meat with some taco seasoning, and this is it. So the night special. All right, tune in again, and we'll be doing maybe reviews. I don't know. All right, good night.